What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Justin, here with Meelz. What's up, Meelz?
I'm here. What do you do when I need advice real quick. What do you do when you were given an opportunity last year and got a certain monetary amount, and then they follow back up this year with a lower monetary amount?
I asked them what happened.
Do I just go straight up ask him like, "Hey, last year it was this, that, and the third. Is there
Yeah,
any reason?"
negotiate.
It's not wild to be like, "Hey, like last year was definitely this.
Yeah,
Is there anything that happened?" Like,
you got to negotiate. You got to negotiate. Just be like, hey, last year was this. I was expecting this rate. Is there any way we could come? Sometimes you got to meet in the middle.
yeah, you know what
This
I'm
might be a
saying?
meet in the middle type of situation where you kind of you might have to take the bite the bullet here and just take the L. But I mean, if you don't feel like you want to take the L, then try and get your regular rate because they will try and play you, and I think that's a
Yeah,
lesson
that's what I'm
to
saying.
everybody.
I was looking at it, I was like, yo, if I did two of these, it comes up to me doing like one of them
Yeah,
last year. So I was like, I was just listening to it. I was just like, nah. I ain't responded to the email yet, but I was like, nah, wait a minute. Um, okay, good to know. How have
don't
you
let
been
them play
doing,
you,
sir?
Mills. Don't let them play you, Mills.
I will never.
I've been good, man. Listen, my wife,
How's the tarantula? Is it still there?
oh, Solo's gone. Solo's gone.
Back in the wild? Like, where
No,
find a home?
you're not supposed to do do that. You're not supposed. He
Oh.
could the spider could legitimately die doing that. They could die.
Try to make its way down the freeway? Of
I I
course, yeah.
I think people should, like, really recognize and realize that, like, you cannot just be letting animals out into the wild that don't have the skills to survive in that manner. Like, those hood spiders,
Yeah.
they know a house spider when they see it. They know a little prissy like, my tarantula was the Carlton of spiders, man. They knew he was from a prep school.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
was gonna take advantage of him. So,
Alright,
I
so where'd
I
Solo go? Yeah, where'd Solo go
I
then?
took them to, a pet store locally. I actually went up there with my wife last Friday, and I was like, "Listen, like, I have a tarantula. My wife does not want this thing in the house."
Did you
Um,
say it was Young Thug's tarantula?
what's funny? Josh had actually asked me if I told them that what it was, like, the origins of the thing, and I was like, "Actually, no, I didn't," because I feel like that would've just made the case worse. I was just like, "I got this tarantula as a gift. Do you guys take the tarantula?" He was like, "What kind is it?" I showed him the picture of Solo. He was like, "Oh, it's beautiful." And I was like, yeah, yeah, it is." He was like, "Do you have him with you?" I was like, "No, I can bring him tomorrow." So I brought him literally right before Worlds Collide. I had dropped Solo off. So, there was a lot of conflicting emotions watching those shows on on Saturday. But I dropped them off. They were just like, "You sure you want to let them go?" Cuz like they're really
What?
pretty. Like I was like, "Bro, don't make this harder for me." than it already is."
I'm not a spider person. You ain't even get like a I know you don't wanna touch touch them. I was gonna say, like, get a flick off with it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Nah, nah,
spider on the
nah,
hand.
nah. I'm sure you're not supposed to handle him. He didn't even handle him. I saw him like
I
take him out.
know. I
But
listened to
like
the entire thing.
he said that, if you want to come visit Solo, he'll be right over here in this terrarium. You can come say hi. Da, 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 da. It was like we're gonna put him in a bigger space, and he's gonna be fine. So
So you're not gonna
he's
sell them or something?
they I think they will, but like you know it'll be cool to go see him on display. I want
Yeah.
you know what I did see. But it's funny. My wife said, I was like, I kind of want to, I want a lizard. And my wife was like, okay. I was like, ain't this some shit? Ain't
A
this some
person
shit?
an iguana?
I've had an iguana before when I was a wee lad. I had an iguana.
Really?
Yeah, I had an iguana. I was scared to death of it. The iguana's name was Iggy, and the iguana's name was Iggy, and I was scared to death of Iggy, and I would never like let him out. I would never touch him or anything like that. But um, It 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 was bad, but, like, I want a lizard because I think that lizards are cool, And when I was at the pet store, I was like, "Oh, wow. I could see myself with this." And my wife was like, "Yeah, you can get one." I was like, "What? What was wrong with Solo?" And you know what the whole thing was? I don't think people knew this, but like,
Uh-huh.
if you listened to the Black Print last week, you would have heard this. But my father-in-law, he got bit by a tarantula, or no, he got bit
Right.
by a brown recluse. So it's like it's a deep rooted like hatred of spiders in my family. So I couldn't do it. It was like having the enemy, and it was like the spider had voted for Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to go.
Oh my god. Listen, I don't even wanna hear voted for Trump anymore after this entire weekend and
Oh,
everything of the
nah,
ordeals.
belt the ass, and yeah, thanks to everybody who hit me up and asked me if everything was cool. A lot of the uh, protests are not close to where me and my wife live, but
Mhm.
obviously, like my wife is Latina, and she is very upset. You know what I'm saying? My family on her side very upset. I'm very upset as well. So a lot of the weekend was just spent trying to make sure that I was present for her and making sure she was okay and or make sure that she was fine. So
Yeah, it's crazy out there.
um,
Shout out to everyone protesting right now and hoping for everyone's safety and because I don't know what's those last 10 years, man. We really have had to like fight the power a lot.
I know,
It's
I
a
know.
it's a it's a tough beat.
I'm
It really
I'm
is. Like
glad that people
this might be the worst out of all of them though.
I'm glad people are fighting back.
I'm glad too. I'm glad too. Um let's see. What do I have anything else to talk about? Apple dropped this new iOS thing. I'm like, yo, I think they ran out of ideas, bro.
Some of the iPhone stuff looks cool, but it's like you get to a point
With
where it's like
glass mode, this is what we're hawking
I'm
now.
I okay, so like what's the problem with that? Like I'm
I
failing to realize that part.
I feel like it's not enough of a selling point to really like really wholly focus in unless like the entire industry has been moving into liquid glass mode. Like you could have made liquid glass mode about jailbreaking your phone like 15 years ago. Like I'm just so like remember last year where they were like you could change the color of your apps and it was like why the fuck would I do that? You could
I
make
do
them all
utilize it.
green.
I utilize that feature. It's actually pretty cool, but
Uh,
like I the call screening thing is cool. I'll give 'em
Call
that.
screening
The
thing is cool.
the background and the text on the group chats is funny because we could you could I the just the, uh, the meme potential of that is funny.
Absolutely. I have a background for a lot of my Instagram chats, to be honest with you. We gotta make a background for ours because I've already used up all the good ones, so now we gotta find one for ours actually. Uh
It should be Leroy trying to swim.
Let's do that. But that's cool. The paying thing, the group feature, the group chat pay thing. I was like, okay.
Oh,
I don't
oh,
know
I
if
know I know what I wanna talk about.
what
This Labubu thing. My wife is a Labubu haver. She's a Labubu
Labubu.
owner.
What the fuck is a Labubu?
It's the little dolls
Oh, the little joints that you put on your phone?
on your bags, but yes,
Oh, on your bags. All right, then I'm thinking of something else. Um,
they look like little creatures. She got one over the weekend, and why do I open the door and I see outfits for this motherfucker at my door? She's dressing it
well,
up in outfits.
well, Labubu. I mean, I can't. I get it, but like,
Nobody's in on it? Let us know in the comments. Are you in on this?
yeah, yeah, tap me in, man. If I hear about it, usually I would hear about it from my niece or something like that. But she doesn't seem to really be into that either. But Labubu, I've seen him on TikTok,
Yeah.
but not anyone that actually knows. So what's the like? What's the appeal
Or
of
like,
this?
it's like Blind Box. The thing that's funny to me is like Blind Box has been a thing forever. Like you get the toys and you don't know which one you're gonna get, and you got to keep buying them to get like the special one. So
Yeah, I
like
don't
Blind
do
Box
that
has been
shit.
a thing. Like yeah, like it's like a gamba. You know what I mean? Like a gamble. So like companies like Popmart have been around forever, and I guess
Hmm.
they struck lightning in a bottle because celebrities have like gravitated towards the Labubus, which like months ago were like not really reselling for that high, but now they're reselling like 400, 500 dollars, per Labubu and shit, and, like,
America will never be gone. America will always be America.
no, America will always be this. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right. America will always be this, and it's like it's like Beanie Babies, you know what I mean? It's like literally what the closest that I could compare it to is Beanie Babies, but,
Hmm.
like, now that
Beanie
we're
Babies
adults.
might be too old school for even some of the people that listen to this
Tickle
show.
Me El Tickle Me Elmo?
Tickle Me Elmo might also what's something in the last, like, 10 years that was a craze?
Fidget spinners? No,
Fidget
it's not as big as
I
that.
mean, no, but
Or
I feel like we're getting warmer. Um,
what is
I
big?
don't
Oh,
know.
Pokemon cards. That's it's like
Okay, alright,
Pokemon
yeah.
cards have consistently stayed the same amount of rabidness since I was a child all the way up to as, being an adult.
I blame streaming for it. It's really just a streaming ploy. Let's open
Yeah.
it. Let's open packs.
Pack open. Well, that's the thing, like, I ordered the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering, don't I never play Magic the Gathering, day in my life, but,
Mm,
like, that was a big thing. So when I was able to get in and pre-order one, that was a big deal. It was like, "Oh, shit, how'd you do that? You weren't there no one was able to get into that shit." And I'm just like, "I don't fucking know. I just want the art. I'm not playing the game. I just want
yeah,
it for the art."
interesting. I've never had any collectible hobbies things.
You do.
Um,
Pokemon is your collectible hobby.
yeah, but I don't really actually collect any of the cards or anything like that. It's too much of a cost. I'm trying to find a little cost effective habit right now. Like I haven't bought manga in like a year. Like it's been breaking my heart not to have manga, like freshly books stuff. I have like random things from different series. Like My Hero's about to be finished. I haven't bought the new My Hero thing and all this other
Wait,
stuff.
have
So
you seen the ending to that or read the ending to that?
yeah, months ago when it came out.
Oh. Oh, okay. I know
It's almost over though. It's almost over. It'll be over by the end of the year. Like you'll be able to like fully indulge, but it's literally almost over.
I'm slacking
Um,
on One Piece. I took a week off, but I'm back this week.
One Piece, listen, One Piece you can just literally drop off, pick back up. That's how I do it. I haven't watched One Piece in like 3 months.
I went so hard.
Too
And
hard, some would say. Too hard, some would say.
I went
Uh, but you know, it happens.
I went
It's
too
the
hard, man.
it's part of the One Piece lore. I'm gonna tell you something also yesterday, and I know you might not be a fan of this. BT Awards was really good yesterday.
That's
It
nice.
was it was really, really good yesterday. Like in a way that it hasn't been in a very long time. Don't get me wrong, it was very long. Almost too long.
Was it a bunch of not like us jokes?
No, it actually wasn't. I think we've moved past that as a society. Um
Some people have it on Twitter, but,
I think we've moved past that as a society. It was this award show proved to me that all the good performers came before 2020. Like, because they lean so hard on the fact that award show nowadays, like no one big actually shows up anymore. Like,
Yeah,
or at least one big person will show up and no one else will show up. The days of like Jay-Z and Beyonce sitting in front row are over for any award shows. So they really like leaned on like millennials and like 2000s, right?
yeah.
So the the spotlight was on 106 in Park this year, the 25th anniversary or 25 year or whatever the fuck they try to whatever it is of 106 in Park, and so they had a lot of great performers from that era. A lot of great tributes. They tributed four people at once. I was like, there's no way they're strapped for like, are we just eliminating the hip hop awards and BT honors and the Soul Train awards and just combine them into one night?
Yeah.
So they honored Snoop Dogg, Mariah Carey, Kirk Franklin, and Jamie Foxx all in the same night with performances and everything.
The Jamie Foxx
Um,
speech looked very nice.
Jamie Foxx's speech was incredibly emotional because you can tell. I mean, details haven't come out of really kind of like what you went through, but you can tell that it was some sort of like people are saying he had a stroke.
Yeah.
Um, and it was pretty much like life threatening, and they said he wasn't going to make it, and he was very, very emotional regarding that, and thanked his family and everyone who really be a part of it. And then they had even performances for him. Babyface performed "Unpredictable." Like, come on, man! Like, it was to me, it felt like the BET Awards that we grew up having, and not like the BET Awards that Paramount can only afford. Even though I'm not even sure if they're Paramount, anymore. Is BT still on Paramount?
BT is still Paramount, yes, they have not gotten bought. They Paramount's like, "I want niggas to buy you, but no one wants to buy you niggas."
It's not a great investment. Um, but it was a good night. Well, that's not the only we gonna talk about people getting bought and networks and all this other stuff like that during this show. But it was really, really good. Like, so, shout out to BT for the one night of the year. It was on a Monday, which is a heavy recession indicator. Um like a whole award show on a Monday. So yeah, it was a good night. It was a good night to watch the show alongside Monday Night Raw, which I then
Which
again
which
watched this morning.
which was a heater, which was a heater.
It was good. It was good all the way through.
Yeah, it
I
was a
mean,
heater.
a couple of weeks ago, I wasn't really high on Raw, to be honest with you, but last two Raws have been really, really good.
Yeah, whatever, whatever,
We
whatever,
gonna get
bro.
to it. We're gonna
Yeah,
get to it. We're gonna
yeah.
get to it. Um, let's get into wrestling news this week. Well, can I also give a shout out to first of all, I want to give a shout out to Rewriters Room for having great episodes consistently. If you haven't been listening to the latest season of Rewriters Room, please do that. I also want to give a shout out to War Report. War Report, believe it or not, I guess this is where I get all my gaming news and thoughts
Yeah.
because they'll go for an hour, 45 minutes, just not on wrestling at all, about gaming and stuff. So I want to give a shout out to them for just being great. And then also this weekend is Father's Day weekend, which usually creeps up on everybody because no one really cares about Father's Day. But shout out to all the dads that are listening to this show.
Proud papas.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into wrestling for real now.
Yes. Where do we want to start? I guess we could start. We could just escalate throughout the whole thing. And then as we get into Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. But first off, WrestleMania going bike to Vegas
Hmm.
shouldn't have surprised anyone. I mean, it's been rumored for a while. Kind of the worst kept secret in the game right now.
Hmm.
People feeling types of ways about it. I think the way that I look at it. Well, before I get into the way I look at it,
Sure.
obviously
How do you
Triple H
feel
said,
about it? More. Well, you can get to that, but I want to know how you feel about it and how you look at it personally.
yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Like Triple H said it off the top. They made the most money ever. They made the most money ever. So why would you not gamble again and double down on it, right?
Hmm.
So it makes sense. My feelings on it, I'm not really conflicted on it. I think that again, Vegas is not like my favorite place in the world, but I also know that Vegas is the epicenter of where things like this happen. It's a big fight town. You go to the big fights there, they all happen. My thing is with Vegas is that it's so funny. I was having this conversation over the weekend with my wife and Josh. Josh came over to watch Money in the Bank with us, and we were like, who like just us being, I've lived here for 10 years. Jessica's lived here all her life. Josh has lived here all his life. Like we like people don't really go to Vegas. Like young people don't really go to Vegas, right? Like
Yeah.
Vegas is not the hot spot that it once was for young people because it's so, I won't say priced out, but it's very much like in our opinion, like middle aged to like,
It skews
older.
older. Yeah, it skews
It
older,
skews really
crazily.
older.
It's
So
been a long time since real world Vegas,
there's
which
not a
made it.
lot of there's not a lot of things for young people to do, or young people are just not into this types of things that go on there. So, and I don't think people like recognize or understand this. I believe that that weekend 2 months ago at WrestleMania brought in more young people that have been to Vegas than they've had in a very long time. Other than like a like and again, they've had festivals there and stuff like that, but like this is like a constant. People were there from Wednesday to Tuesday type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
Thursday to
yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday to Monday. You know what I mean? Like they were there the whole time. So it makes a lot of sense, Meals, that they would go back there and that Vegas would, welcome them in with open arms because there were kids, teenagers, young adults, older people. Everyone was there. It makes sense for them to go back to Vegas in that sense. Like I think that it's a good move. I think it's a good idea. It's also the first time. But what's bigger than that? And this stuck out to me. This gives Triple H a second chance to right the wrongs of what he did or what was allowed to happen
Mhm.
this year. This gives him a chance to right those wrongs and to give us not only a better card, but better matches, better builds, better everything. He has a chance now, and from what we're seeing right now, from the build that he had from the moment Mania stopped to now, he's very much in line to give us a really good WrestleMania next year with the pieces that he has in play right now, from the women to like what's going on with all Seth and everything like that. Like, there's a really good chance for this to be a very, very, very meaningful WrestleMania next year. So I'll give him that. You know what I mean? I'll give him a chance on that. So that's what I think about it.
I think it's definitely something to wrap your mind. It makes sense, but always what makes sense isn't what may be favorable. Um and in just I'm okay with it because I'm not going. Like I don't got the bread to go. Like I couldn't if I imagined the wildest dreams. Like I saw the prices last year. I expect them to be higher this year. I couldn't I just not gonna even bother. But like you said, it's really up to H to really kind of like figure out this card and really give people a bang for their buck because it's kind of just again, I repeated this as I said, a couple weeks ago. The people that I talked to who went to WrestleMania said they didn't feel like they got what they bought. I mean, for as much as they spent, they don't think they got the value from that as they would have thought. And I think it's a lot. This is really their first year really being so heavily brand integrated. Um, which adds a lot of instead of it's a lot of like stop, match, promo, add, stop, go, get something, add, match. So there's a lot to like keep in play. I think they have to find the like healthy balance within that at WrestleMania, and that's tough to do considering like it's WrestleMania. Like we're making our biggest payday through brand deals and all this other stuff like that. But I think they have to find the right balance of like again, the in-ring product which people are still heavily invested in and then also giving people the premium live experience that, is
I
of the
don't
value that they're
I
spending.
I don't feel as though they're not giving people premium value. I think people just
I
didn't like
mean,
the
but
show.
I think but no, they're giving people premium all right, so they're giving people premium value, but I guess they just didn't feel like the weekend or at least the event itself 41 um was worth it as the price, especially when you compare it to other great WrestleManias which I guess were cheaper in previous years, but everything all the prices go up every year for everything.
But
uh,
also, there's also a sense, Meals, that like a lot of people just won't be happy with this stuff regardless of what you do. Like I
yeah.
think that's another aspect of it is like people are just not going to be happy with it no matter what had happened. You said you heard people that say they didn't feel like they got their money's worth. I heard people that say they had a fucking blast. Like there'll never be a consensus on this because of just how I won't say polarizing or divisive, but just how people's experiences are different. Like, were they only looking to just go there just for the show? Did they do something else? Like, I feel like I'm not letting fucking Mania determined my whole thing. Like even when I went to go see it in Dallas, we did other shit. You know what I mean? We explored the city. Like I think that there's also an element of like, regardless of whatever happened at the show or what was going on, like people were not everyone was gonna have a good time regardless. I'm not gonna say it wasn't a super premium event. I just think it was a super expensive event. And I think that's something that's just ultimately people can like say like, oh, they're scamming the fans, whatever, whatever. Like, completely hear you there, bro. But at the end of the day, like they're not gonna do it if people aren't paying for it. If people aren't paying, when people stop paying, that's when they start making a difference. That's just the way capitalism works. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
no, for sure.
that's that like people are shocked at these prices. I'm like, they're doing it that way because like people are paying for it. But also, let's just be real. Like a lot of it is secondhand, StubHub and shit like that that are kind of overcharging and triple pricing shit too. Like that we see that with AEW as well. We see that with Taylor Swift concerts. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
there's a lot that goes into what makes this happen. But like again, I think I said it before, maybe 2, 3 years ago. These things, live events, are a luxury now. They are not they're like, and these things are not necessities. They're a luxury now, and they're always going to be that. After COVID really truly changed everything when it comes to
Mhm.
live events. Like it allowed like it's greedy, but like these motherfuckers are like they're trying to take everything back. They're trying to we got to get our money back from the 3 years. That's how they
Right.
look at it. That's how they looking at it now.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of how I generally feel. I would have loved it for go to New Orleans, to be honest with you. Like again, I feel like New Orleans. I guess it has a much more, for me at least, like the culture of it and everything that I've seen and everything that I, think that seems a lot more interesting than Vegas. Um, but we'll see. Vegas
No,
next year when tickets go on sale. Will people be moving out in droves? I can't imagine it. It would have to be. They would have to. It would have to be really big time for them to double up the next year. Like
people are gonna go to Vegas. People are gonna go to Vegas,
no,
Meals.
people are gonna go, but
I don't
it
think
would
that
have.
I don't think that there is going to be anyone that is going to like the people are gonna go to Vegas. There's no question about it. They're gonna
Do you
go.
think it sells out again?
It's gonna sell out again.
Okay.
It's gonna sell out again. People are gonna go to Vegas. They're gonna go to Vegas. They're gonna
Okay.
be it's WrestleMania, it sells on the name, not the matches. And I
Right.
think
Right.
that's what people gotta gotta remember. Like it sells on the name, not the matches. It's the weekend that sells the event, not the event that sells the weekend. And I think that like people will love it to be the latter. It is always the former. I think the issue with New Orleans versus Vegas is that Vegas can actually hold all these people. New Orleans really can't because you got to think like they're not like Bourbon Street is still going to have that small like that it's going to be packed. You know what I mean? And like
Hmm.
there's so much logistical building wise that it just remember the last time they were there. Think about how many new fans they've gotten since. Think about how many fans that have returned since the last time they were in New Orleans. I get what the New Orleans City Commission were getting at. Like they got to have the city ready for WrestleMania. They just weren't ready. They just weren't ready. So I think that has to be taken into account too.
Okay. Yeah. What else we got?
We had news wise. What else was there? Oh, WB, WB,
WB. Yeah. WB. The future of AEW. What does it look like considering all the news that came out yesterday?
WB Discovery deal has been. How do we say it's been contentious for a lot of different reasons. So there's so they've tried a lot of different things. Um, David Zaslav has tried a lot of different things, but I think what more than anything, this past year has been very turbulent for the company. We've seen a lot of very strange schizophrenic ideas coming from them. Like they lost the NBA, so they double down and turn around and say, well, you know what, we lost the NBA. Let's just let's go into fucking NASCAR or fucking college sports. Let's go into other shit.
It's not even they lost the NBA. They arrogantly said we don't need the NBA.
Yeah, huh? So
Yeah, like we don't
now,
need no damn stinking NBA. And I was just like, all right, nigga. And here we are, months later. That was really the catalyst for kind of everything that really
absolutely.
moved forward.
I feel as though if they keep the NBA, if Zaza was able to close that deal with the NBA, we're not here now. But they're splitting into two separate publicly traded companies. Keep in mind when companies do things like this, it does not mean that they have to wait to sell the company. I'll just say that off the top. The first company is going to be known for streaming and studios. It'll be led by David Zaslav. And the second company will be Global Networks, which will be led by the CFO, Gunnar Weidenfels. So basically, what that means is
Yeah,
that
I was
this,
gonna ask, like, what's your like not only what does it mean, but what's the logic kind of like behind this?
I think the logic is that they want to for one, they want to make sure that like they say they want to maximize the potential of the company in that sense, but basically they want to cut off the fat and focus on the things that actually make the money. I think the first clue that this was going to happen was when they changed it to they changed Max back to HBO Max, and they're going to divest all of the Discovery stuff off of there in the coming months, which I feel for every single coder, every single UX, UI person who had to make that decision because that's frustrating as hell, Meals. Like that is so fucking frustrating to be like, okay, now we're gonna go back and you're gonna put the HBO and everything now and put the movies back. Like they have to restructure everything. Like I don't know if you've seen what Max looks like now, but like like they have to redo all of it. They have to redo all the menus, all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
they want to basically focus on the things that make the money and that are going to be successful. So when you talk about global networks, or that will be CNN, TNT, TNT Sports, Discovery, Bleacher Report. Discovery Plus is going to become it's going to become its thing again, and that was the profitable part of the streaming part. Discovery Plus was actually very profitable, which is why it doesn't make sense why they put it in HBO Max in the first place.
Yeah. Listen,
Just perplexing shit. So streaming studios,
you don't gotta be smart to be a billionaire.
that's going to be Warner Brothers Television, Warner Brothers Motion Picture Group, DC Studios, HBO and HBO Max, as well as all the libraries they have. This to me is a net positive because a lot of the cutting that they were doing for costs, they can scale back on and they can start bringing stuff back. They can start bringing all these animated stuff back, like if they so choose, because they
Mhm.
don't have to worry about the heft of the networks bringing it down. So when we talk about AEW, that falls within global networks, which kind of puts
Mm,
into question. Well, I mean,
mm.
it falls in a global. It's not falling in the streaming studios.
No, it's not. And honestly, it's probably better that it doesn't.
It's not going to be on HBO Max. And again, I want to look at everyone that was saying that like this Max thing was such a net positive for them, and it was garnering so many positive things. We never saw a number. We never saw pay per view in there. We never saw any of that type of shit.
It was a lot more of convenience more than anything for the additional pay. But it has yet to be reflected. Like we've seen the deal that Peacock gave WWE or Netflix gave WWE. Like, here's the right to host our pay-per-views. And then the pay-per-views will be available on demand. And this will be the only place where you can get the pay-per-views. And oh, you just have to subscribe to get it. Whereas AEW, I mean, you looking at the same deal, like they got a good TV deal for what they did, but in terms of they didn't get any additional deal for it hosting on Max. They didn't get any additional deal for like the pay-per-view thing. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, the pay-per-views are gonna come up, and we still don't even know if we're gonna fully have to. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a decrease in pay for them, but realistically, like, like what's the net positive coming from this? If you have a model, especially established by WWE, of like, if you subscribe to this service, you can watch the pay-per-views. Um,
It's
but
tough. It's tough to get that technology though. Like without like paying into that technology is tough. Like WWE took a huge loss trying to start up the WWE network, and now they
No,
don't
that's what
even
I'm
run
saying.
it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like but I'm saying like you pay for this service, you pay for Peacock because you're knowing you're going to get the pay-per-views. You don't even have to pay an additional fee. There isn't
Yeah.
any other things like that. AEW, we still don't like the pay-per-views are up, but again, no one's promoting that the library's up.
Well, they
Whereas
they promote more than anything that you should pay for their pay-per-views, which is like the funny part. And
yeah, go to Triller, go to Thing, go to YouTube, go to everywhere. And to be honest, if there's 6 different places to watch pay-per-views, why the fuck would I subscribe to Max to do it?
well, I think ultimately what it comes down to is that there's a change of leadership, a large shift in leadership that's coming. So like whereas David Zaslav might have thought AEW was essential, they have a new boss now where they might not think that this is as essential as they think. You know what I mean? Like that could be a huge issue in the future for AEW. And I think again there was a comment where one of the people at the reveal for the split said that sports was never a large gainer or a large driver of anything for HBO Max or Max in general. So it puts into question all of these weird, strange numbers that we kept hearing, Meals, for the last couple of months about how good Dynamite was doing on fucking HBO on Max.
If you could see my face right now.
It's just
Like, it never made sense, to be honest with you. It never made sense they're doing another 150. I mean, 100,000 potentially attainable, but I don't even think that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
if NBA wasn't really even doing great numbers, and to be clear, like, sports, I think, is just something it's always gonna be ingested on television.
yeah,
Like, it takes a lot to move the behavior of fans to really move them to a streaming app. It would have to start with the Super Bowl.
right,
It's like
right.
Super Bowl is exclusively on this, and then you kinda get the behavior to move it, but, sports will always be like this family thing, television, ratings, all this other stuff, so it's tough to really maneuver out of that unless television goes aside, but And I think wrestling in a sense occupies that space too.
Mm.
Um, but it was always tough for me to imagine looking at the numbers for like when they gave the numbers for Saturday night's main event on Peacock, or when they gave the numbers for like the Super Bowl, or when they gave numbers for NBA or stuff like that, that AEW was
Never
somehow
mentioned.
not even not mentioned, but not mentioned in the actual press releases. But then according to wrestling news sources, that it was doing better than those sports.
Yeah, it's doing better than the NBA and tennis and, all of this other stuff. It's like, you can I'm not here to guess whatever numbers it is, but like there's people that were saying like it was doing 500K on Max or 100K on Max. I'm like, that just doesn't make any sense. If that was the case, this is the biggest company in the face of the planet. If that was true.
I mean, I just yeah. I I'm interested in what this kind of holds. I mean, I know they currently have a deal which they're not really going to get out of, and it'll be interesting to see where pay-per-views continue to land on this sort of deal, considering how the entire model of it is going to be restructured. But it is a this is feeling very familiar. I don't know.
Well,
I don't
in
know if
what way? In
it'll
what way?
uh, massive um massive corporate change in broadcaster of wrestling network changes eventual outlook on wrestling. Potentially could change the outlook on wrestling, which could then send them to have to like find either a new deal or not exist at all. Like where does AEW, where do realistically you feel like AEW will, it's really up to the relationship with how they see professional wrestling. And
Yeah, if they don't fucking care, it's over. I think that
which I feel like people don't care. Like, to be honest with you,
I
nothing
I
has
think
indicated that they care.
I think that this is in a lot of ways, and I think that it's funny because like you don't really see, well, at least I haven't seen any wrestling journalists kind of look at it this way, but like within show business, like how does this not look like a final straw for David Zaslav and his regime? How does this not look like investors are like, right the ship or you're gone type shit? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because it looks like they're gearing up to sell. All those times where where people are like, oh well, this is actually like I keep seeing this is actually good for AW. How? How? This is dangerous for them. This is uncharted territories. A lot of the advocates for them are gone, including I believe the woman that actually helped seal the deal for them to get there. They're gone.
Yeah.
And they're under a completely new CEO there who says, "You know what? We're going to focus on 90 Day Fiance and 1,000 Pound Sisters and Food Network and HGTV and we don't even have NBA anymore, Meals. Why the
Yeah.
fuck do we care about this little rinky dink organization? Put them on Bleacher Report. You know what I mean? Like it's feeling familiar in that it feels like how Impact was at one point, TNA Impact, where they were just
Yeah.
kind of getting bought like boxed around. I don't have a I think that this is something to be very concerned about. At least as their deal comes up, I think 2027 is when it's supposed to be up for a renewal.
Mhm.
They should really be thinking about what the fuck they're trying to do when it comes to it. I don't see
But
how any of
they
this has been a positive thing for them,
but then they
especially this
always
renewal.
but I think if they had better business idea just in general, they would not have put their all their baskets in one network. Like we were like they were like, "Oh my god, they're great partners for us." But if you're looking at kind of, and I get they don't want to completely copy all the homework of WWE, but if you look at what's kind of like working, what has worked at WWE, having your shows in multiple places increase eyes to them, but then also it adds a layer of security that you could, or it adds a relationship that you could possibly, think. Who knows what happened by 2027? WWE could negotiate a deal with another set of networks. They could say, like, you know what, Evolve might be on True TV or some shit you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, especially if the basket was such in flux like this. And
Yeah.
it to me, it looks crazy that they didn't.
He was wearing a
Ackn
Max hat.
yeah, they didn't acknowledge the flux, um, that was going on.
Anyone with any sense could have told, like, other than the money aspect, anyone with any sense could have said, "I don't know if they wanna hitch their fucking wagon to this schizophrenic ass company that doesn't even know what the fuck they wanna be." You know what I mean? Like, and this split is set to be completed by, probably around this time next year. So, like,
Mhm.
we won't even know the full fallout of it, but, like, you best believe with anything, some people are probably unfortunately gonna be laid off. Some people, unfortunately, are probably gonna be moved. Some things are probably gonna be shifted. They're gonna look at what's doing well on all these networks. And I'm gonna be real. One of the biggest things, and I think people don't like, they're not talking about this. Like, one of the biggest things that was taken away, Meals, when Zaslav got there, was scripted television on
Yeah.
TNT and TBS. All of
Yeah.
these shows were taken away. Now that they're moving into a sense where this is their own thing, they're going to need more programming to make it enticing for subscribers and for people to look
Mhm.
into it. They could potentially bring back more scripted television that they took away, which takes away more money from AEW, which means that they'll probably actually succeed and win by putting more scripted television on there. So it won't just be Justice League marathons and shit like that all day.
Kinda like what CW did when they said, "SmackDown, get the fuck off our network."
Yeah.
Like,
There could be a complete program shift
yeah.
where they don't want wrestling anymore. It doesn't
Which
matter
I
how.
see, and it sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Which I see just basically, like, if you look at the we're getting into, like, industry talk. Um, if you kind of look at everything that's happening right now regarding a lot of streaming platforms and their networks, you look at Peacock USA, you look at Paramount and kind of everything that they got going on, you look at this, like, it's proven that the model isn't really sustainable, um, because there's so many splits, so much it's not making money. It's just not. So to
And they
hit your
need and they need sure things.
yeah, and the sure things right now, I mean, I don't say fully sure things, but it is like, for instance, we don't know where SmackDown. I'm assuming SmackDown's staying on USA, but I don't know
Yes.
if it will still be on Peacock
Well, I
in
mean,
January.
and that goes to what I think. I think all of WWE is gonna be on Netflix come
Yeah,
2028.
yeah, it could be, but I also feel like they're also smart and like, let's put it somewhere else as well. Like,
Yeah,
let's
it
see if
could
we can negotiate a deal somewhere else as well.
they want at least one of their shows on linear television. Like, they want at least one of their shows there. If I was them, I would push for SmackDown to be on NBC on Fridays. Network television.
Hmm. I mean, it would
I
be
mean,
less.
broadcast television. Yeah.
I mean, I
Like,
don't know. I guess you could say bitch on NBC. But
it has to be at 10 o'clock. So I mean, it's a 3-hour show.
yeah.
Bitches can come out at 10 o'clock. But again, I think that, ultimately what we're looking at here is a shift in WB. I think that, like, I think in a larger sense without AEW, I think, like, them shifting back to what worked is a good thing. I especially with the streaming and studios, I think HBO Max was one of my favorite streaming services, and it completely fell off after Discovery got added to it. Taking that out, focusing on what works, focusing on their fucking catalog, all of that stuff, that's gonna make them money. That's gonna make them a lot of fucking money, and they have a momentum on their side. They have some of the biggest movies Mills of the year. Sinners, the Minecraft movie, Superman comes out in a month. They got the hot hand. You know what I mean? They need to cut all of the BS they were trying to do out and just focus on what works for them. Unfortunately, with change comes fucking, as you say, Meals, addition by subtraction, and that's what I fear for this whole shift, because there are going to be good people that work there that are going to have to suffer for the decisions of a deranged billionaire. Um,
Absolutely. And we don't really know kind of like how this all stands because they, like we've mentioned before, they aren't mentioned in any press releases. They aren't mentioned in any announcements. They aren't
yeah,
mentioned in really anything. We know where the history of like NHL and MLB and all this other stuff will go. We don't know where AEW lies in all this. Does it truly lie as entertainment or sports? Um, you know, they'd be better off making an entertaining show. Uh, let's see. Let's go to the pay-per-views
yeah.
this weekend.
Worlds collide,
Worlds Collide, man. A good
and one of my favorite shows of the year. I'll just start off by saying that.
A good wrestling show. How about that?
Just some good old graps. I think that there was a level of interest going into this show.
Mhm.
There was interest going into this show of, like, what is this gonna be like? How's it gonna be presented? I was glad to see that it was presented largely from what I see, how it was presented or has been presented in Mexico already.
Yeah.
Um,
With just higher
I
production value.
Yeah, just a little bit higher production value. I think that the talent they had there was perfect to show off, to showcase. Pagano, Psycho Clown, my favorite. Psycho Clown's my favorite. Mr. Iguana, obviously, Octagon, all of these people, like they showed out, you know what I mean? And I think that they had really great showings. But I think more than anything is the storytelling that they had throughout the show was really, really great to me. Telling the story of AAA, telling the story of how all these things happen. Obviously, you're gonna get a lot of people on Twitter saying that's not really how it happened. But I'm like, bro, let niggas have what they want, man.
Yeah. But, I'm
Let them find the truth on their own.
it is, I'm interested to see what they're gonna do for Triple Mania,
WrestleMania,
um,
yeah.
in a couple weeks, but, no, this was a fantastic show. Again, a great showcase of all the talent that they have mixed in with WWE talent. So you kind of got the best of both worlds, and you're able to be kind of like cleanly introduced to a lot of things. It seemed like a good live show just in general.
Oh,
Sold
yeah.
out. Um, you know,
And it looked cool in the forum. It looked really cool in the forum too.
yeah, just hours before, and they did it. I think it's purposely scale it back a little bit so it doesn't look like, we're not gonna have LED, barricades or like all these other things. I think it was like properly scaled back. Not sure just because like we needed all that stuff kind of like ready for like eventually Raw and the pay-per-view later that night.
Yeah.
But it just the atmosphere of it, really, really good. The matches, um, I really enjoyed the Fatal Four Way match: Ethan Page, Javon Adams, Laredo Kid, and Ray Phoenix. Really enjoyed the main event being Vikingo versus Chad Gable for the AAA Mega Championship. Um,
That's like my match of the year right now.
it's really good. Like to be honest, and I was listening to Alvarez, and he came up with a really, really good point. He was like, people talk about the kind of superstars that WWE has kind of like created over the last years and say that they're all kind of like modeled the same. But one of the shining stars coming from the PC system that they had is Chad Gable. The fact
Yeah.
that Chad Gable can have a match like this, you know what I'm saying, speaks to the
Mhm.
success of the PC system. Granted, you know, talented athlete just in general.
But
Um,
he wasn't like traditionally a pro wrestler before he came to WWE, you know what I mean? Like
right.
he was like college, you know what I mean? And he had a really heartfelt and really cool post about the whole weekend. And I think that for him, ever since he resigned, his fortunes have been up. You know what I mean? He
Hmm.
has he has been fantastic in his role. He has known the timing. And again, he does the stuff that we say on the show already. This is stuff that you do when you want to stay at WWE forever. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? The stuff that he's doing is that type of is that good, but it's that type of storytelling and things like that. Like I think that he has perfectly mastered this style, but perfectly mastered how to be a character. And I think that when we ask or when we have conversations about people who didn't make it in WWE and we say, you know, this is why they didn't make it, and da 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 da, like I'm just gonna start pointing at him as a reason why these things didn't happen, because like you have to be able to have this, and not everyone has it. You know what I mean? Not everyone has it. They try, but they don't have it like him, who can go in the ring and have that match with Vikingo. I've watched it 3 times. He
it's
made
really good.
Viking he made Vikingo look like a star.
Yeah.
Like, and not only that, but like Vikingo made himself look like a fucking star. He's a crazy man. That motherfucker's crazy.
Hey man, it's up for him. Like it really, really is. Considering kind of, I think his talent has brought him everywhere that he needed to be over the last number of years. But just the fact that he gets to show it now on the biggest stage and in such a way, and it's kind of like record breaking live event on YouTube. Really, really good. So shout out to the entire show. Heard Jeremy Borash was behind it. Great mind. Um, all that other stuff. So yeah.
Yep. JB. Money in the Bank at Intuit Dome. Another really good show. I like both shows, considerably over the weekend. I think as far as the double shot, I think the big fear was that we would be tired of everything, but I think both shows were different enough. You got kind of the rough guerrilla style with Worlds Collide, and then you got like the Hollywood with Money in the Bank, the action movie with Money in the Bank. Going through it, I think we did a pretty good job predicting the show. By the way,
It was pretty.
pretty good job of predicting this show.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about H is that if you kind of like he
This
doesn't
was a
do anything wacky like Vince does,
this was an
where
H special, by the way. And I said this in the chat, but I was just like, how do y'all not recognize that this man does this all the time when he's ready to like restart some things
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
like or make things like get set things up for later. Like he'll just give you a card with where all the heels win.
Essentially, I mean, I think it comes from him his own kind of like past through all of this, to be honest with you. There's a there's a large part of like this works for me, so I know it's gonna work for everybody else because a lot of this kind of like echoes various points of H's career. With like eventually you get to the point where you get to the Backlash 2000, even though it should have happened at WrestleMania 2000. You get to the Backlash 2000 where it's like, okay, the good guys finally win, but the bad guys gotta they gotta set the stage quite a bit. And yeah, Money in the Bank was for the bad guys. Money in the Bank was for them, but it came from the Intuit Dome. Um, Looked great. 17,000 people in attendance. Um, Lots of storylines heading into this first match of the night. Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I missed the first half of it, but caught the second half. Um, but either way, I feel like the winner was the right winner. Like the winner was the
We
winner that it should be.
And we've known it was her. You know what I mean? Like, we've known it was her, regardless of what she, wins, losses, whatever the fuck. Naomi has been perfectly positioned for this moment since the time she got back.
Yeah.
And, they have given her character moments, great fucking matches, a huge heel turn, huge stories, all of that stuff. And we have the opportunity to see what she can do and run with the ball in a way where it's like, okay, we know she's eventually going to get the title, but how do we get there and who's going to be involved? And I think that's what's more the most intriguing part about this whole Naomi thing is that like she has fully actualized this character and just bought in. And then it's made it easy for us to buy in as well.
And yeah, people are excited. She's the right one. I mean, we said it again, like we said, the moment that this was, the rebranding that it was, the vision of this character as it is, like this is for this moment right here, and she's the perfect one to win it. All ladies in the match did an excellent job, in my opinion. Shout out to Stephanie Vaquer for wrestling 3 matches in the span of 2 days.
They gave her a break. She said, "I see you tomorrow at Raw." On a post, I was like, "Do you think they about to let you work again?" They're not like, "No, you're gonna go home probably."
They told Chad Gable, get your ass in that damn ring. I tell you that right now. They
It's
said,
because
hey.
they say, "Nigga, I don't." That AJ Styles match was so low impact on Monday. I was like, I get it. There was a time he slammed Chad. Like I think he did like the little spinning fireman buster. I was like,
Mhm.
he landed so soft. I was like, how did AJ do that? Yo? How did AJ do that? It was so cool.
We got the Intercontinental Championship match, which came from the Worlds Collide
Worlds
pay per
Collide.
view.
Yeah.
Great synergy, great. Hey, we got another
Did you
event
know
coming
that
up.
did you know that Pentagon was a kinda like a offshoot of the Octagon character, of the original
No,
Octagon?
no,
He's like the evil version of Octagon.
huh?
I did some reading up on a lot of the competitors, last weekend. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." He's got the Octagon verse is very interesting, and Pentagon is part of it, but he just happened to be his own kinda thing. Like, one day there might be a Pentagon Junior because there's gonna be evil version of him, eviler version of him.
Oh, it's like
It's cool.
Piccolo.
Yeah,
Um, so Dominic Mysterio, who at times I forget is Intercontinental Champion. To be real with you,
until
like,
Saturday.
yeah, until Saturday. I mean, he wins this match. I assume they're building up to eventually SummerSlam. I don't know who he's going to face, but um, you know, he's doing his job as Intercontinental Champion. Thus far, longer reign than Jey Uso. I'll tell you that. Next matchup, last chance match, WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch defeats Lyra Valkyria. This is one that we called.
Mm.
Becky was going to win this match. You know, she still put over a lot. I was like, I don't even think she needed to. But she still gave Lyra like that Stone Cold moment. You know what I'm saying? Like Stone Cold loses the match, but at the end of the night, his music is gonna play anyway.
Yeah, put her over like crazy. They don't miss. These 2 don't miss
Nah, not at all. It's
at
just good
all.
grabs. It's just really
Yeah,
good grabs, like, at the end of the day, and I think, to me, it always irks me because I feel like people underrate Becky as an in-ring competitor a lot. Especially when you compare her to like I guess we're comparing her to the other four horsewomen, but I think she stands, especially her mind and the way that she operates in the ring, but then also understanding the psychology of it. I think she's vastly underrated compared to her contemporaries. Like we've seen the big matches that people can have where they take the high impact moves, and that's great. But I don't think Becky needs to do all of that to have a great match, but then sometimes she does anyway. So
yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I To me, underrating Becky Lynch in this day in 2025, knowing her catalog of work, um,
It's a
her
fool's errand.
hits, yeah, her hits compared to her, like, I don't when's the last like bad Becky match?
You don't ask the internet, but, don't
Like
ask the internet.
I can't even remember it. So it is what it is. Money in the Bank men's ladder match. This one had all the goo goo gaga of the Triple H
The
kind
triple
of
it had the
regime.
it had the cinema. You had the
Yeah,
cinema.
right? Like, it was a cut scene in the middle of it. I was like, "What the fuck? Alright."
You had the no, the cinema, you had the joy, the love, the laughter, the pain, all of that stuff in one match, the overbooking, the run-ins. Well, I love that they had set this up on SmackDown very
Yeah,
really well as well. Like, they set this up that Seth would be this huge adversary, on SmackDown because he attacked everybody in the match. And then, that was a huge part of the story. The Andrade Penta team up with into the eventual, them wrestling each other. But really, the whole thing was the solo Jacob stuff on SmackDown. We're kind of spoiling it there, but like SmackDown, he had called Jacob basically an idiot. Jacob was he was in the Batista
all
section,
gas, no brains.
and then JC Mateo just stone face. I'm like, you could laugh, bro.
Like, you don't know how to be a henchman, bro. He just
Oh, that's what they teach you at AEW. Like AEW, everybody is solo. You know what I'm
This
saying?
is
Like
why
everybody get to be solo.
bring back, I don't care what, body part is injured. You gotta bring back Tamatonga. Just leave him out there. Leave him out there to, like, coach him or something. Jesus Christ. Um I love that this match was so fire, so fire that people started a "We Want LA Knight" movement. Listen, LA Knight is a he's a like a playoff elevator. Like he is someone who, when the lights are on brightest, he's going to rise to the occasion. He may average like 12 points during the regular season. In the playoffs, he's averaging 17. Like
He's good.
he
I can't deny him no more. I can't deny how good he is. Do I want him to have a title? No, but I can't deny how good he is.
that suplex off the ladder was hard. I was like, okay.
It was
That was
great, and Grande is a fucking madman for
yeah.
doing that match and then doing all of it. I My funniest part of this pay per view was when he told the face he made when he told American Alpha or not American Alpha, the Creed brothers to tell him where the ladder was. He was like, "Tell me too." I was like, "Yo, this nigga's comedy, bro."
How did you feel about the whiskey fireball ladder?
Fire. I didn't have any problem with any of the ads. I actually think it's funny because it pisses people off so much. So
I
if you ask me how I feel about any of it, I'm gonna think it's fire every time.
Here's my thing, because I was listening to Warboard over the weekend, and I was texting back and forth with Quan about it because they were talking about the ads and why people are upset. And of course, like I'm not upset because I work in the world of branding and marketing. There's nothing like the only time you get upset is if there's something wrong that impedes the match. Like if suddenly it was like the starry 5 count, you know,
Yeah.
match or something like something that gets in the way of the actual action in the ring. But like putting ads on top of on a ladder and the table, like it's very like low lift. You wouldn't even care. I
The
think people are
funniest part to me was like, what are they gonna do? Start putting ads on the wrestlers' gear? I'm like, they're wearing literal
probably
card. They're wearing the Topps card patches on their fucking clothes now. So
yeah.
yes,
And WrestleMania pretty much an entire match was booked off of a mobile game,
Yeah.
the world champ. So it's like I get why people are upset because it's such a gradual shift, right? Like 3 years ago, this wasn't even a thing. 3 years ago, this wasn't the only thing we got was like Miz beating up zombies to promote whatever game that was, or Damian Priest beating up zombies or whatever it is. Like that was, or and then like year they promoted water with like a water gun fight at SummerSlam and
Yeah.
shit. Um, but I guess because it's so much, but this is you'd be better off getting used to it now because it's not going away. Like this is one of those like irreversible things where it's not they're not going to say one day we don't want ads. We don't want to get paid from any of this anymore. It's just not going to happen anymore. You'd be
It's
better
working
off.
too it's working too well, baby. Why you think they're going back to Vegas?
Listen, the only issue I felt like the whiskey fireball ladder. If in my brain I'm like it needs to be the tallest ladder that they have.
And it was.
And they need to like again be able to it finished the match, which is good. Like all this, so my that's how my brain works. Is like okay, it was because when Solo was going up the regular ladder, I was like Solo going up the regular, and even that was funny, right? Let's talk about the split, the
Yeah.
Solo and so we have Seth's group come out. Seth, things for his group to come out on camera. Shout out to that. Um, essentially being like, hey, I'm looking at the camera, guys come out. Braun Breaker comes out, destroys Grande
Grande.
Americano.
They missed it on the first time. They missed the
They sure
fucking
the hell did. It's very AEW-esque.
yeah.
Um, and him and Bronson Reed come in and they wreck house. But then you have, and they hinted at this on SmackDown with the opening segment of SmackDown. So you have Solo's crew who comes out, and they both come out and they get in a fight with Seth's crew, and it's awesome because this is what we wanted. This is kind of car crash stuff that we want in a ladder match. Um, the who gets laid out? Mateo gets laid out. I think he goes
Yeah.
through the barricade.
He goes to the barricade. Mhm.
So it's just Jacob in the ring and he's setting up the ladder for Solo. And it's just funny. He's like, yeah, of course, Solo's climbing up the ladder, rung by rung, step by step. And Jacob looks up at him. And I was like, oh, this is the moment. Again, these are the moments that this is literally we do this like multiple times a year. But this is
It's
the
it
moment
every
H
time.
loves.
It hits every time.
Yeah, this is the Batista puts him through the table, them turning on Randy Orton, the split that you want that's always been hinted for. Um, realistically, Jacob should be the bad guy, but I guess he isn't.
No,
Um,
he's not the bad guy because I mean, it's been clear that Solo's been trying to screw him for months now. Like, he's not the bad guy.
I don't know if I screw. I mean, he didn't really
Yes,
screw him yet.
he ended up having he's the reason that Solo had that fatal four-way a month ago.
Is he the reason why he didn't
He's the
qualify for the match?
Yes,
I
he's the reason
forget.
why he didn't qualify for Money in the Bank too. He's been trying to screw him for months.
Okay, all right. Well, it didn't work that well. He's been on fire, but nonetheless, um,
Well, it did work because he wasn't in Money in the Bank, and like he barely for the skin of his teeth won that fatal four way.
right.
It's been a thorough story.
Okay, all right. I mean, maybe it's just because I love Solo too much. Um,
You just now started loving this nigga. Like let's be
I
real.
mean, he's hilarious. I
We
mean, it
both did.
is,
I'm not
but
gonna deny we both did. But
but he is now in his element in the mid card. Like this is where he needs to be, and this is where he's at. But with that said, he pulls him down from the ladder, pretty much lays him out, moonsault, everything, spinning Solo through the ladder, knocks him out. Big pop, leaves the thing. Interested to see how this turns out on SmackDown.
I wonder if they hit Saudi with it. I don't know. It seems like a SummerSlam match to me, but I can see
Saudi,
a Wrestle match.
as long as Mateo don't end up there. I don't know if the Saudi Prince wants JC Mateo. I don't
What
know.
I would do is honestly have the Damian Priest
Mm,
Jacob match happen. Have them 2 be kinda like a team for a while or kinda like a partnership for a while.
hmm
Um, and then you break off into Solo and Jacob at SummerSlam. And I just they don't need the belt. I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna face off for the belt. This is, of course, just pie in the sky booking, but, like,
I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they are actually.
you don't?
Nah, I don't think they're gonna face it. Doesn't need the belt. Doesn't need the belt at all.
I feel the same way, but, You never know.
Um, and then I
Main
forget
event.
what actually happens to the end. I'm not sure if LA Knight gets his ass beat or something because it ended up being
The LA ggets tossed off, I believe, and then Seth takes the briefcase.
there you go. And so Seth, two-time winner, won 2014, 2025. What a great career he's had. Um, he is Money in the Bank. It'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
again, just
saying?
with Naomi, it's how the Money in the Bank is just such a heel coded match in
I
so many
agree.
ways.
I
Like
mean,
it,
especially under the H regime, like it's very
yeah, it's
like I
so
feel
heel
like,
coded.
but I feel like you can. I mean, we won it. I guess faces who have won it. Damien wasn't a face when he won it,
No,
right?
the
No,
last baby face in the last couple years to win it was Big E.
no, that's
Yeah,
that was that was a past era. Um, with that said, okay, main event time. Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, John Cena, Logan Paul. I thought this match was probably better than I thought it was going to be honest with you. Um, Logan Paul with an insane spot, the SIE moonsault through the table onto
yeah,
Jey Uso.
that was fire.
Uh, knocks them both out. So we get John Cena, Cody Rhodes, kind of like sparing off. John Cena hits Cody Rhodes with the belt. He's about to replicate history. He's got his number for whatever reason. And then throughout the crowd, a hooded figure.
I knew it from the damn ankles. I said it's truth.
As a black man ankles. Um
Like, Josh was like, "How you know?" I'm like, "Bro, I see his ain't nobody that black. It's truth.
Jo- Josh with the how you know is hilarious to me. Shout to wrestling, it's still real.
Black ass knees,
Yeah,
black
come
ass
on
ankles."
now. I knew from the way he was standing. I knew from the jeans he was wearing. I knew from the shoes that he had on that it was our truth. Pulls back his hood, pulls back his Mayan Scully. It is our truth. The crowd pops insane. We want truths ring out through the entire Intuit Dome. He escapes into the evening. I don't know. It's not night yet. Um, Cody Rhodes hits the crossroads on John Cena, pins him, he wins the match. Everyone is happy. Thoughts on the closing to this show and our truth returning through everything that happened over the last week. Your thoughts on our truth
I'm glad the fans got what they wanted.
returning. I
That's all I got to say about it. I'm glad they got what they wanted.
thought it was cool. I don't know what it. I mean, obviously, we talk about we can spin off into this will be the Monday Night Raw free part, and then everyone else,
Yep,
$5 Patreon.
yep.
Um, it spins off until Monday. You know what I'm saying? John Cena briefly mentions our truth. I thought you damn ghost wrote the promo. To be honest with you, I was like, that's a J5 bar right there. Um, but it doesn't run past further than CM Punk mentioning him. And then we get our truth eventually return and he stands up on the table and he gives an impassioned speech about who he was and how he tried to be for so long and he thanks the fans because they are eventually heard, they are absolutely heard throughout all of this and he's going crazy. And then he grabs a pair of scissors and I love how the announcers sell it. Like, get that. I don't know what this
They
nigga
got
gonna
up.
do.
They moved out the way.
Yeah. It's like I
They
don't know
thought
what this
Tommy
nigga gonna
Dreamer they thought Tommy Dreamer had arrived.
and he grabs the scissors and he begins cutting his hair. Let
I
me
said,
ask you
"Thank." I
something.
said, "Thank God, bruh. Thank God."
Let me ask you something. I don't know if hair's supposed to cut that easily.
Well, yeah, no, yeah, it's not, but, it's baldy time. It's
he
baldy
gave
time
he
for
gave
him.
it like two snips. I was like, I don't know if it was supposed to fall off like that.
Oh my god, did we talk about Mariah May?
No, we hadn't talked about Mariah May. We can talk about it after this.
I wanna talk about that, whatever. I'm just being mean. Go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
I
on.
again, I think that this is a testament to in a lot of ways, like, how the fans stepped up, but more than that, how the locker room stepped up. It just seems like the locker room really wanted him back. I could see a lot of people there that have worked with him for the past 10 years being unhappy with how things unceremoniously went down and are very happy with, how he's been brought back. It's been reported that Nick Khan, in fact, Robert Truth kind of confirmed it on his tweet. He tweeted out about 10 minutes ago how he thanks Triple H and WWE and especially Nick Khan. So Nick Khan got the deal done. They said it's very rare for Nick Khan to actually come in and close in on these deals, but I mean, you got to get your closer in order to do it because our Truth had been ignoring WWE for the past week. Our
Hey,
Truth,
man.
he talked to Nick Khan and the deal was done. And pretty much from there it was a done deal. And it speaks to again having that great sense of talent ownership and talent management and making sure that the talent that you have, are presented to the fans who want them in the right way. I would say. And like I said, I'm glad the fans got what they wanted. You know what I mean? Like I'm still I'm like I think for everyone that complains and talks shit about AEW about how they have older people on the roster, or even WWE how they have older people on the roster,
Mhm.
if this is a sense of he's going to be on TV so much more than he was before, I think that like I really need to be asking like what the fuck, like how is that okay, but that's not okay.
I mean, I can't see them investing him long
There's
term.
niggas that
Unless,
want him to win the title, Meals. Like they want him to win a world title.
hey, man, I don't
John
listen to
Cena.
them people. I'll be honest with you. I don't listen to them people because that is kind of the level of outrageous that I don't really want to subscribe myself to. But
I don't think
I
he
think
will want that.
I don't think so either. I mean, I guess it would be dope if it was like if it was lit, but I doubt it at this point. Not at this point in his career. I think he understands what his role is in his career, but um I just kind of want to see. I mean, I really kind of want to see where this all goes and kind of like ends up. Um,
Yeah.
where does this build off to? What's the launching pad for this? Where does this kind of go? If this is truly a career transformation, where does he find himself in all of this, and where does it all end up? That's kind of what I'm interested in. I don't really anticipate him, nor do I want to see him have a major role on the show, unless the character somehow manages to supersede that somehow. You know what I'm saying? Like the character is so strong, like that Summer of Cain type thing, where it was like Cain unmasked and then he goes on a terror for like the rest of the summer. Like
Yeah.
unless it's something like that, um, then I don't see it. But I can't imagine there's a much of a big like they have their SummerSlam mapped out, and I'm sure it doesn't include our truth for right now.
If
And
if it has anything with him, like this
he's
gotta
not
be like
he's not facing John Cena again. Hopefully,
do we think he's not?
I don't think he is. I mean, based on Monday night, he's not.
I think it
I
makes
think
sense for him to run it back.
I think he is. I think he did that as an act of like truly turning the page. Like that was his act of like transforming from our truth to Ron Killings. And then I think we're going to proceed with Ron Killings moving forward based on else who else is out there. Um, but he's not in King of the Ring. He's not in any of the other things. So I can't imagine him in the near future facing off for the championship. Is all that I'm kind of saying.
Yeah.
Let's talk Mariah May.
Yeah, real quick before we go to Patreon, Mariah May showed up. Well, we don't know her name. Showed up at NXT.
You know what? I hated the episode last week because I'm like, damn, this aged terribly in record fucking time
Why you
for
say that?
me. Because
Why you
you
say
were
that?
like, oh, she's gonna go to NXT, and I was like, no, she don't really have to go to NXT, and there she
Oh
goes showing up in
yeah.
NXT. It aged terribly for me in record time, bro. I was like, oh my god, I didn't even want a thing to clip the episode. I was like, oh fuck this, I don't care.
I told you, bro. That's my thing. That's my thing. Here's
Mhm,
my thing. They want to go. They want to go. I think that's the
mm.
thing that we should keep in mind. Like if she went to NXT, it's because she wanted to go to NXT. And I think that we should not discount the fact that like there is development to be had if you go there.
Did
Um
JC not want to go to NXT?
he's like he's honestly too old to go to NXT at this point. He's
Mm.
like early 40s, Well, he around a lot of YNs. He should go
I
to
can't
NXT.
imagine him being awkward
Why
just
do
being
you
around.
want why do you want JC in NXT so bad?
I need him to learn some chops. I need him to I need him to sit next to beat up Chase U and really understand what it feels like to have a personality, you
Oh
know?
my god, bruh. Oh my god. I don't know. I think that,
I need him to demand a match from Ava that he isn't gonna get until he figures out how to get it eventually.
that he lies to get it.
Yeah. Something stupid, like,
But no,
um
not much to say. I mean, she cut a small promo. JC Jane seems to be facing off against the Field. I don't feel like Mariah is gonna be the one to take that off of her. I don't, if in the near future at all. I would be shocked if she shows up. There's been no announcements that she's gonna be on the show this week, but I'd be shocked if she didn't show up this week. But she looked good. She looked fine. I think that she looks excited to be there. I think that this is following the same Ricky Starks kind of thing, right? Where he just shows up out of nowhere and they get it popping. I do not think though, Meals, to your point, I think we can both be right here. I do not think she will be there long.
yeah, I wouldn't imagine she's there long. Um, but she looked good again. I- This was a great opportunity. You have the whole division kind of out there. You're resetting the division based on all the call ups that kind of have. I introduced Laney Reed to the mix, which is good. You introduced a few more girls into the mix, which is good, and then you introduced like, hey, Mariah, whatever her last name is going to be, um, is also there, and now she's also going to be a big part of NXT. So
Yep.
definitely a major point. Can't wait for the Tony Fumble chants that eventually appear after her first match, but uh, we'll see how this goes. Great
Yep.
American Bash is next month. Evolution is next month. I'm expecting big things from her in those moments.
Yep. All right, that is the A show. We went a little long this week on public, but we're gonna switch over to Patreon. Thank you guys for listening to the show this week. We really appreciate all the support, of course, every single week that you guys show us, as well as the War Report, as well as the Rewriters Room. And thank you guys for listening. Make sure you check out those new episodes if you haven't already. So for Meals, I am Justin. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.